cosplay photos look glamorous. It looks fun. They have like people with epic costume. There are like, really cool photos. A lot of big moments online. At least it used to. I mean, it still does, but I feel like it changed. But the truth is, it's a little bit more complicated than that. Like, there are things that like people don't consider if they don't actually shoot cosplay, like copyright issue, that's a big one. The industry is hesitant about it. There's a lot of, tough choices that most people don't even talk about. So today, let's talk a little bit about cosplay photography. What's everyone, my name is Wong, and I'm a photographer here in Southern California, Los Angeles. I do a lot of different things. I shoot photos, I shoot portraits, I shoot videos, I do unboxing, I teach people how to shoot, or I mostly show them how I shoot. I want to say I'm a great teacher for now. And also do some gear unboxing, review, kind of things, all kind of stuff. But one of the things that people mostly associate me with is cosplay photography. I don't say I'm known for it because that sounds like, too much about myself. But yeah, like a lot of people just associate, cosplay photography, Martin. So let's talk about that a little bit, okay? So I got started in cosplay photography because I just love the fandom and I love photography. And those things just combined the two together, it was perfect. And going to convention was a perfect mix of the two. You see people that bring their favorite anime or video game or comic characters into cosplay, which is crazy. And back then it was wild because like most people don't even know that like you can't just buy cosplay from Amazon. I don't even know if Amazon was a thing when I started. So you can't just buy cosplay, you have to make them. And that's already one big hurdle and it's difficult for cosplayer. And another thing is that you can't just look for reference, like not like now. Like back then a lot of things are on VHS or like some of the video games, like you have to play the game in order to find the characters and stuff like that. So it's not accessible, and also they change it all the time. There's so many anime, I think like Sailor Moon or like all of them, like people hair color change like every episode. Their costume look a little bit different. Sometimes they look blue, sometimes they look purple, or like their costume would be like pink, red, or orange. Like they could all like change all the time due to multiple reasons. There's also some video I watched before about how like when they move video from VHS to a different medium or from something to VHS, there's a color problem, or when they wanted to save on ink, like for example like Trunk from Dragon Ball Z supposed to have like blue hair like Bulma, like his mom, but then they want to save money on ink, so they use purple. So there's a lot of reason why things change, but that become very tricky for cosplayers just to get that right exact look of the character. But people still do it. It was a lot of passion. People love cosplay, and I love that for them, and I love being part of it. And I got in when people were starting to make cosplay in a way that's much more popular. Not popular yet, but still more popular than it was. And I got to join in by taking photos of them and making those characters come to life. So that's how I kind of got started. And the great thing about convention is that cosplayers are expecting photos, like they are inviting photographers to take pictures of them. And me as a photographer, who was still kind of new back then, I want to try out different lighting technique. I want to experiment with different lens. So it was a creative playground for everyone that's involved. So it was a lot of fun to collaborate with all kind of people, and it's very inviting. Like there's not many places where I know where the subject or people that will just willingly and want you to take photos of them, and you can easily ask them and they will want to collaborate with you. So convention had that magic that I really loved when I first started. And then in like mid 2010s, like 2015 and stuff, like about 10 years ago, cosplay grew like a lot bigger. And the whole energy of it also grew bigger. Like suddenly cosplay wasn't just a niche anymore. Like comic cons got really popular, pop culture got popular, Marvel got bigger. So things were like in magazine, they were in brand campaign, in like all kind of stuff. I remember some of my cosplay photos were also in newspaper before because they were like, oh, this is cool, we want people to know about cosplay. I'm like, I've been shooting it for years and now you want to know about it? But sure, they also pay me for it, so yay. So cosplay becomes such a big thing, and there's a lot more people getting into it, which is a lot of fun. I love people joining in and loving, what I love to do, And also at the same time, cosplay had made it very easy for people to learn photography because again, people are just invited to shoot. You just join in, you can just ask people to shoot and they'll let you shoot. But you also have to learn how to shoot in very tricky situation, like convention have horrible lighting, notoriously bad lighting. You have to make people wearing costume look like they're actually the character, or at least like larger than life. So you kind of level up pretty quickly through cosplay photography. So that's still a lot of fun. But here's what most people don't see, okay? Cosplay photography lives in this really gray area kind of situation, because at the end of the day, you are shooting copyrighted characters. So even if the cosplayer built a whole costume themselves from scratch, the IP still belongs to the big companies, you know? And not even the artist who created them, it's the company who owns those arts, owns those characters. So that makes it very tricky in a business sense. So in that case, a lot of brands are hesitant and when they want to partner with you. If you say you're a cosplay photographer or anything cosplay related. Sometimes conventions also have rules what you can use on that photos that you took on their property and kind of stuff. So everything is kind of, you know, always seem as a amateur hobby, and they'll never be taken seriously, especially when the company don't want to spend money on something that they worry they would get, like, you know, copyrighted issue. And because of that, I know a lot of photographers didn't want to invest into cosplay at all. You know, some of them even got burned out. They don't want to shoot it anymore. It's not because there's lack of talent. There's a lot of creative that want to shoot cosplay, but the industry just doesn't know what to do with it. So they just kind of, you know, don't want to touch it. And then there's also the flip side of this, which is the community. It is a fandom, and we know every fandom has mean people. You can just point at any fandom and say, wow, the media is great, but the fan sucks. You can say that about almost every single fandom. There are, of course, very supportive people of cosplay, but there's also people who are very mean and hateful, like they get mad when maybe the cosplay doesn't look exactly how they imagine it. There's also photographers who want to push their style to be a little bit different than what the original media is. So collaboration is tricky sometimes, and also cosplayers don't understand how the photographer owns the rights to the photos. So that's become another hurdle, another barrier for people want to get into cosplay photography. But just to be clear, I don't regret it at all. I love cosplay. You know, I've been shooting it almost majority of my life at this point, and it gave me like a lot of cool things. Like I have lifelong friends. I mean, in fact, I'm going to a birthday dinner right now with all those friends from cosplays. Incredible experience, opportunities. Like I flew out to like multiple countries around the world just because of cosplay. But it's not an easy path, you know, especially like if you want to get into monetization, then it can become very, very tricky. But doesn't mean that you shouldn't start it, you know, but that depends what you're trying to get out of it, right? What I'm trying to say is that if you want to start cosplay today, you have to making sure that this is something you're passionate about. Don't think about money and opportunities. Those might come later, you know, but focus on improving your skill. Is still a great place for you to learn photography if you want to get into photography in general. It teaches you how to do, you know, lighting better, how to do editing better, but you have to respect the community so then they can respect you. And at the end of the day, just collaborate with things that you think is cool, so then it will show off in your work, you know? And with that, you know, you're gonna find a lot of friends, and then maybe after that, money and monetization might come after that. But, you know, I'm seeing a lot of photographers out there are helping the cause, me included. Like I want to bring cosplay to a more forefront on the internet, as in the whole business side of it, and I want people to get involved in it. So I'm really thankful to see a lot of people are joining me with that, and as cosplay get even more popular, more people are doing that. But anyway, that is my take, a little bit about my creative journey, and just want to share some insights with y'all. And if you like this kind of stuff, you know, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, or maybe tell me about what is your journey, or maybe your regrets when it comes to cosplay or photography or both. You know, just let me know. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.